What's up, guys? Welcome back to another weekly update of Improvement Time. So this week was a very different week. So what happened was, unexpectedly, I had to take a few days off from the gym, more days than I would like or had preferred. However, sometimes in life, there are priorities that happens, and we have to address those priorities first before just weightlifting or anything. So other than that, I ended up taking off Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. There's a lot of things that happened. Hopefully some good things, but overall it wasn't bad. I mean, I could use the rest as well. It was my week back from the long week of vacation. So here, I filmed some footage from my lower A session, which is my heavy 4x5 sessions. Here, I'm warming up my squats, and as you can see there, I was a bit stiff. After not training for a few days, my body was a bit stiff. Typically, I need more longer mobility work just to kind of get my joints and hips really fired up. So as you can see, what I typically like to do is acclimate as close as I can to my working set before I start my working set, because one thing you don't want to do is just throw on too much weight and really risk any injuries. Back in the days, I didn't warm up as long when I was younger, but I'm older now, and I keep saying it, and I just have to train smarter. This was a earlier session where I definitely felt stronger. Again, it varies from training sessions, because sometimes over the weekend, what I like to do is I like to train earlier, and when I do train earlier, meaning that I typically have about 1 or 2 meals before I work out, and I have lots of caffeine before I go. So on my regular average working day, I would go to work and then go to the gym at night, and typically I've already been awake for like over 12 hours, and I'm pretty burnt by then. But as you can see, warm-ups felt pretty good. Here I'm doing 2 plates and a quarter, and since today's working set volume is 4 sets of 5, I typically like to do about 3 reps just to really hold the stretch and not really exhaust myself. So it's important to get warmed up, but you never want to feel like you're working out hard during the warm-up, because what happened is you kind of get stuck. So I noticed the last time I did 4x5s, according to my notes, I did start off with 3 plates, 315, and I was able to hit 5 reps. So I added an additional 5 on each side, so this was 325, and this is the first working set right here. Walkout felt pretty good. Typically after the walkout, that's when I can tell if it's going to be a good or bad set. I was actually pretty happy with the breaking the death. Everything felt pretty good on this one, I remember. And I really had to push myself to kind of go a little bit over 315, because usually what I like to do is 315 has been kind of like a baseline for me, and it's not light, but yet it's not as heavy as I would like to go. So meaning that I do want to progress, but this compound movements is one of those movements where you really have to concentrate, because unlike the deadlift, if you can't do this, you can really get seriously hurt, and you want to make sure that you mentally and physically are capable of doing this before even attempting. So that went well. So I threw on 10 on each side. So this is 335. The last time I did work up to 345, I believe. So I am trying harder to kind of progress to make sure I'm doing more working sets closer to my top sets from my previous workout sessions. So really increasing weights is not the only way to progressively overload. So you can increase by working sets and also matching your top sets. So here, it felt pretty good. Again, it's interesting because every time I'm under the bar, it feels so much worse than it really is. So in reality, it might look not too bad, and it's I could feel oh yeah, it looked too easy. But I remember when I was under the bar, I felt it felt hard, especially after the 3rd rep. It's always kind of it messes with your mind, right? Because you're can I do it or can I not? So I looked back to the video, and I was okay, that felt pretty good. So I threw on another 10. So this is 345 right now. Total weight 345, and this is set 3. And I was really pleased because The last time this was set 5 for me, and I'm able to kind of progress and go higher. So set 3, first rep, boom, nice. I just have to really make sure that I'm really controlling the weight and not jerking too much of it. But as you can see, it felt pretty good. Overall, pretty pleased. I've kind of been overstressing myself a little bit, trying to push myself to push harder, because there's a lot of lightweight bodybuilder competitors that kind of push way heavier weights than me. But again, I have to really control myself and just be mindful and stay in lane, meaning that I have to work where I'm at. So this is a currently 20 on each side, so this is 355, and currently this has been the heaviest I've squatted in a long time. I think the last time I squatted this heavy was like during the peak of my last previous bulk before my contest prep. So as you can see right now, gearing towards it, you guys don't see it, but in my mind I have tons of things going on right now, you know. So here, walkout, it felt pretty stable, I would say, the walkout, and usually typically I could tell how the set's going to go by the walkout, and that's one. And I remember just grunting out after every rep on this one. And I typically am more of a closed person where I don't like to make too much noise while lifting heavy. And again, this is just one of those times where I was really proud of myself. And usually I don't like going this heavy without a spotter. So I felt pretty good. I could say I felt pretty good. You know, still proud of myself. After that, we move into deadlifts, and I currently don't warm up as long as I used to be back in the days. Back then I would also, after a gruesome leg session, I would always try to take a little bit, like 20 minutes to warm up my hips for deadlifts. However, one thing I noticed now is that because I'm so, my muscle connection is like so, it feels so good while doing legs, I feel my hips are pretty warmed up when I'm squatting. So I typically try to jump right on just to save some time, and currently working with 405 just to see how I feel, you know, because usually if it feels super heavy, then that pretty much tells me that I can't go up and I should back off the weight a little bit. But as you can see, the speed's pretty good. I'm not sitting too low, pretty controlled. So I was overall pleased with how the first set went at 405. And I think what I originally planned with this workout was to work my way up to 425 only. Again, I haven't done 4 plates, 455 in a long time. It's been a long time. I think I hit it like once, maybe within like the last year. Here I'm trying to hit a set of 5 reps. So first rep felt good. That's my man John in the back. You know, you'll be surprised, because having a positive supporter within the gym environment is really important, and that really helps out as well. As you can see, 455, we're moving up pretty good. Set 2 was a success. So here comes set number 3. Set number 2 felt good, so I decided, what the hell, right? My boy John was there, and John was just telling me that he hit some PRs, and it's been a long time since I really tried or even attempt heavier weights. So I decided to throw in the 5 wheels, 495, and I'm not gonna lie, I was a little skeptical, because usually I don't like to jump that much of a change. Like if I hit like 455, I might go up to like 475 tops. I wouldn't want to jump on to like 495. So I decided to go. Felt okay the first one, I'm not gonna lie. I was actually pretty happy after the first rep. Second rep was coming, felt great, and I was actually really pleased. I didn't sit too low. I could stay a little bit tighter, but for someone that have not done 5 plates in a long time, it was a win for me. And I remember, most importantly, I felt great. I didn't feel like I strained anything, so you know, that calls for moving up. I could have made a judgment call. I could have thrown another 5 pounds on each side, but I decided to try to attempt 495 again for my 4th and final set, the second set. And I remember after I did it, I told Maggie, I was like, wow, like I was really proud of myself, where like I felt good. I wasn't sitting too low. Again, it took me a while to work back up to the heavier weights, and I'm very excited to see where this bulk is going to take me in the next few weeks. That rep right there, that first rep of my set 4 was like, I remember feeling like the earth was on me. But again, if you watch the bar, it's not as bad as it felt while I was performing the exercise. So, you know, set 4 and 5 was set 3. I mean, 3 and 4 was actually really good. Really pleased, really glad I did those last 2 sets, heavy sets, safely, and just, you know, I felt great overall. And here comes after that. I typically move into a lot of accessory movements like abs, standing calves, and I did my leg extensions. So here I've been working with these stiff-legged deadlifts with heavier dumbbells. The heaviest I've gotten for these were 115 pounds. However, this session right here, I was going so heavy for the count pounds where I didn't want to risk any injuries. So I wanted to lower the weight a little bit, but not to a point where I don't feel it. So again, I typically do 6 to 10 reps, and I hit all 10 reps with 110 pounds. And you know, after doing, I remember these felt so light because after picking up 495 for multiple reps and for 2 sets, 110 pounds on each side just feels like cake. Like, it went up so easy. It felt very different, but overall, as you can see, I'm getting thick. I'm building the density. As you can see, my arms and everything, my back. The goal is to always bring up my glutes, my hamstrings, my calves. And to be honest, I'm seeing a lot of responsiveness from the calf raises. It's interesting because my muscle connection with standing calves has always been pretty crappy, but recently everything's starting to grow, and I don't know if finally things are clicking, but I just like the pacing of this, and I'm gonna really just take it slow and let things really take its time and take its course. So this is my last set before I finish my adductors and abductors. So I started doing some cable pullovers for the glutes and some hammies. Again, I know a lot of people probably not used to seeing me do these, but I do transition from time to time, and I do like to rotate these along with my lying, you know, the barbell and the dumbbell hip thrusts. So overall, I would say everything went pretty well this break. I would say I felt great to a point where like my macro was on point. So those 4 days that I took off, although I didn't train, I was hitting my higher surplus calories, and everything just overly felt better. And I just felt that it really helped. I think those extra rest days really helped benefited my recovery, and really mentally and physically. So I felt, you know, really pleased with the progress. And one of the things you guys all know is that I'm hoping to keep bringing it up. Let me know if you guys still want to follow my journey. I know I haven't daily vlogged in a long time, and that's something I might want to start doing again. Daily vlogging, there's a lot of changes coming up in our lives, and I just want to be able to share with you guys when the time is right. Also, I want to do a full body posing physique update. It's been a long time. I'm not as lean, but I'm at a place where I'm much more healthier and definitely much more sustainable state right now, where I could still feel great, have food, training is fun, life is fun, social, you know, connection, like social relationships, hanging out with people, it's fun. So I'm just really excited to continue showing you guys the journey of natural bodybuilding, that it's a long game. There's no rush, and there's really no time taking, there's really no mistakes. There's no reason to feel bad for taking it slow. However, just make sure you're doing it correctly, meaning that you want to have the longevity of the journey but still have a productive one. That's it for this week's weekly update, guys. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys like the video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.